What's up, sports freaks, and welcome to All Sports Media Team Presents Drbl episode 36, Heart Over Height. This week, we got a VBL legend, VBL royalty in the house. We got Victoria Baby V Mazzeo. What's going on, Victoria? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everyone?
Chilling like a villain, and I'm happy I get to actually do this interview. We were talking this week, and I was like, oh, this whole week. And I
I
was
know you're saying you're sick.
I was so bummed, and I'm just like, and I was freaking out Gilbert because he was gonna have to run the show, and he's freaking out because he didn't want to mess nothing up with you, and it just all worked out. So I'm very happy about that. I'm also happy I got my crew with me. We got George to the side of me. What's going on, George?
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? How's everyone feeling?
Chilling, bro. We're ready to do this. I'm ready. Gilbert, what's up, my dude? I can't hear you, sir. Come on.
Keep on mute.
Let's try this again. Gilbert, what's up, my dude?
I said we're waking up, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're excited. And we even got Doc. She just got in. Dedicated Doc. What's going on, Doc?
I'm so excited. I love Vic. She is one of my good friends, and we are going to learn so much more about her today. So I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a good show today.
It's going to be fun. So let's just have fun, you guys. Let's keep this as casual as we can. But let's have a blast learning about this awesome baller right here. So again, Drbl 36, heart over height. Let's just start with that. Victoria, what's the whole heart over height thing? I thought that was pretty awesome when you told me about that.
I think that's just something I've always been saying, and it's so funny because even some people who didn't even know that that's been more of like a theme throughout my life,
Oh, cool.
like will say that to me just because I play extremely hard, probably
She does. Uh-huh.
harder than I really need to. And I'm only 5'5". It's so funny because I think Doc and I were having a conversation the other day. I was like, I'm short. And she's like, no, you're not. You're not short at all. I was like, Doc, I'm literally like always the second or third shortest. She's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I just have a 7-foot attitude, but I am
I like short. That. I like that. I may be short, but I have a 7-foot attitude. I really like that. That's cool. I mean, you don't even notice. I mean, when you're balling, it's like the height thing doesn't even show because, like you said, you are a hard baller. Like you go all out. I remember when I saw you in the first Dockweiler when I believe you guys took it.
Yeah.
You guys were slaying. You were smashing it. And like we were talking about before the show, you get cut up, you get smashed up, and you still ball up on those guys. I mean, has that been your life? Is that how you've been growing up? Were you always with guys?
Yeah. So I don't want to discredit women because I actually think women play feistier and tougher, especially like good women. Like if you get a group of college hoopers or ex-college hoopers, I think they play way harder on each other than a guy will with like one or two girls on the court. Because for the most part, men are respectful. They realize that they're a lot stronger than girls. I mean, you'll have a couple one-offs. I've had one-offs on camera. But yeah, when I grew up, my only neighbor was a male that was 3 years older than me, and he loved basketball, and then I ended up loving basketball more. And when I was 5, I remember they didn't have enough girls to make a team at the Y, so I played in an all boys team till maybe I was like 8. And then unfortunately for pickup, like I spent my adolescent years right outside Detroit. Pickup, if you went to the courts, it was always all guys. So yeah, you just end up playing with the dudes, and yeah, it's probably why I play a little bit like rougher then.
That makes it more fun though. It's more exciting to watch when you guys are getting crazy on the court. Doc knows all about that, right, Doc? When he jumped on, well, what was his name?
Doc is tough.
Doc?
Yes,
he is. Don't let her.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny because like you see my face, like I look like I'm probably gonna do some crap on the court. She looks so innocent and nice, and then she goes on the court like.
She threw that big dude off the court, like at Dockweiler, remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was so funny. I even have the tape right now on my computer.
He does actually. Telling you, George catches it.
What's so funny about that is that when I told Bone Collector about that, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Let me call him right now." And he picks up the phone and he calls them, and he's like, "I heard my homegirl threw you off the court."
I sent Doc the tape too, and she was laughing.
Oh my god, that's freaking gold.
Anyway, back to Victoria.
back to our normally
You
scheduled
know,
program, right?
I'm all for talking about this.
We'll get into random
Thank
stuff.
you.
Believe me, it always happens. Like somehow,
Thank you,
some way.
Victoria.
Okay, speaking of random,
Victoria's definitely like one of the top 3 toughest girls that I've ever played with or against,
Oh, wow.
for sure. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience playing against any. I think I've only played against like 2 people who made it to the league, which I don't even know their names or anything, and they were like, but as far as women, but Victoria's super, super tough. And what's really cool about her, and this is also what we were talking about the other day, is that she's tough, but she's not dirty, like at all. She doesn't play dirty. And one of the things that we were talking about the other day is that she takes it from other people also. And this is kind of admirable of her, because she'll just take it and take it and take it and take it at first. And then, you know, people can only take it for so long. But she doesn't play dirty. She plays fair. She just plays hard. So she's awesome.
That's respectable. And people, you got, like you said, like, you know, respect is earned, not given. And the fact that she doesn't play dirty, but she does play hard, is something you got to respect, and something you got to, you know, you want to go see something like that, you know?
Right. Well, I try not to retaliate. Like if someone's like doing like dirty moves, like pinching or slapping, I try not to retaliate in that way, but I will go get a bucket on you.
There you go. Exactly. Let your game.
And I will look you in the eye like after I score. So I understand.
Exactly. So let your game.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Wait, Doc, Devin just put up that highlight, and literally after I like made that one girl fall, I like looked back and I had like the sassiest look on my face.
You saw it.
Is it on IG? Because I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it later. Well, he put it on his sports monitor or whatever, but it's so funny because I was talking to Doc the other day and I was like, do I instigate? Like, I feel like I'm not instigating, but I feel like people play really hard. I was like, I know I play really hard. And she's like, it's your face, yo. You have the cocky. She's like, you just have this cocky smirk when you play, and it pisses people off. And then I'm like, no, I probably do. I get that. But then I saw footage and like, I saw footage and I like made this girl slide and like hooked it in on her. And I like trot a little and like look back. I'm like, Vic, don't look back. Don't look back.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's hard because you got to try to contain yourself, but sometimes you just can't. We talked about this on our sports show when we were recording. And it just makes the sport more exciting when people are into it. And you know, like in baseball with the bat flips, or like basketball, like when LeBron does like no looks and stuff like that, or like what you just said, when you turn around and stare at the person who just hit you, you know, it just makes it more fun. It makes it more exciting to watch, you know? It's like, okay, what's going to happen next? Is she going to like try to retaliate on her? And again, with retaliation also, it's always a person who retaliates that gets caught. Every single time.
I know. Right? I know. Literally, it is always the person who retaliates.
And that's what we're talking about too, because this happens with my daughters all the time, right? So Mariah will like do things like sneakily, quietly to Christina, which I don't see or hear. But then I hear Christina retaliating and is like upset, or she has a look on her face, or she's like yelling at Mariah or something. And I'm like, Christina, don't talk to your sister that way. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, you didn't see what she just did to me, you know? And I'm like, well, I see the way you're reacting right now. So yeah, unfortunately, that's just kind of how it happens.
And then she's in the corner laughing or smirking or winking.
Yeah.
You know,
my little brother.
He does.
My little brother does that to me all the time. Like he would do stuff to me, and then my mom wouldn't see it. But then like the moment when I do something to him, that's when I get in trouble, and he doesn't even get in trouble. So I think that's part of being like the younger kid, like in the family.
I will say this though, I think with guys, they're better at like duking it out on the court and then squashing it right after. I think girls tend to hold a little bit of grudges even into the next game. So like before we even start playing the game, the girl's like, I'm about to kill her for like something she did like 2 weeks ago. And like I probably forgot about it, and I already had like, it's like crazy. Like, I will say that's the one thing I learned about like playing with guys. Like no matter what happens on the court, after the court, I'm always like, bet, good game. I might have a bloody nose from you. It's cool. I'll see you next week. Like whatever.
Like next game, next play.
Exactly.
Right, but I will say, unfortunately, majority women. That's not how it works.
That's hilarious.
And that's part of the reason I think college basketball can be so stressful, especially as a women hooper. There's so much drama. Like it's already a mentally and physically abusive place. And I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. I think college basketball is one of the most mentally abusive things anyone could go through, and physically, to be honest. You're subjective to like one person's opinion who's playing all kinds of mind tricks, and then like 12 women who are all competing for 5 spots. It is a dangerous place to be in. So if you get through 4 years of that, you're just like,
yeah, you're ready.
It's crazy.
You're like,
I can't remember. I think one time after a game, the coach was like baiting us, like screaming at us. And all my coaches got fired in college. So I obviously didn't have the best coach.
Wow.
Good time.
The coach was like, I was the captain, and the coach was like screaming at us. She's like, was it me? Was it me? Someone tell me if it's me. You guys can be honest. We're a family, like screaming. And I hate screaming, for the record. And like, I was like, okay, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm captain. I have a decent relationship with the coach. I think she like trusts me as a human being. We're in a safe place. I'm going to be like, coach, yeah, you made some of the wrong calls, to be honest.
Oh,
and
no.
I thought we were in the clear, but her face went from like mad to demonic. And so we had like a 6-hour car ride, like a 6-hour bus ride back. It was like 2:30 a.m. on the bus. She didn't say a single word all 6 hours. We get to the facility, like back to our practice facility, and she goes, Maz, meet me in my office.
Oh, you don't want to hear that.
It is 2:30 a.m. I had an 8 a.m. class. I was already exhausted. I'm just like, and it's so funny because the whole team looked at me as I was walking to her office, and they were just like,
oh snap.
It was nice. It was nice knowing you.
Like you in
thanks
trouble.
thanks for standing up for us, but you're gonna die tonight. Like, it was great. It's great knowing you. It was actually
you're the captain, right? You're always that sacrificial lamb every single time.
Exactly. Being a captain is maybe the worst place to be, because you're supposed to be like a mediator, but the mediator, no one's ever happy with the mediator. Doc knows, because she has to be the mediator during our games. No one is ever happy with the mediator, because you have to, like, the coach wants something from the team wants something from coach, but in order to make it work, you have to find a middle ground where no one's happy, and then you're the one that's getting like literally crucified.
Like blamed, yelled at, yeah.
It's so funny. Like, being captain sounds like such a good thing to be. It is horrid. It is horrid, especially on a college women's basketball team. It is so lonely, and you constantly are trying to do the right thing, but constantly getting like berated.
Right.
Thank God my best friend was the captain of the Temple team. So we used to literally text on our way back from the game and be like, this happened to you today? She's like, yep, this happened to you today. I was like, yeah.
You feel my pain, right? You're like, I know what you're going through.
Like, I was like, I just got yelled at by the girls and the coach, and I'm still getting nasty texts. How about you? She's like, yep.
We're still getting grilled. I'm getting grilled right now as you speak. What are you talking about? You know? Seriously.
Not yet.
But before,
the only difference is I would be like, okay, I got an 8-hour bus ride, and because I played D2, and she'll be like, oh, bet we're getting on the plane right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Like,
I was like, okay, Tosh.
That's crazy. We're talking college, talking how crazy the college experience was. Let's backtrack a little bit, Victoria. You're a Philly girl, right? I
am a Philly girl.
That Instagram that I posted, and I felt like
I was just teasing you.
It was so funny though.
Both my colleges are in Philly, and then when I graduated at 22, I lived in Philly, like right on the Rocky Steps, until I moved here. Essentially.
No way. That's so cool.
But obviously, like, my high school was in the Philly burbs and stuff, so some people like tease me like, you're from the burbs. Like, I was like, I know I'm from the burbs, but I also lived in Philadelphia for the last 8 years. Like,
okay,
so it's more of a facetious joke.
Got it. Okay, cool.
But yeah, Philly born and bred. I don't think there could be a more opposite city from LA, except maybe Cleveland.
Really? Why is that? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I think Philadelphia is just so blue collar and gritty and like honest and real. Like, not saying that all LA is fake, but they have a composure about them, or like they might be able to put on a face. Philadelphia,
okay,
you like what you see is what you get. It is.
I like that though.
It is crass. It is definitely a Frank town.
Definitely. I agree with that.
I
I've been
like,
out there.
You
I've been
you
out
said
there for a
fake
week.
town?
Frank, like
Oh,
honest.
Frank. Oh, okay. I thought you said fake.
No,
no,
Frank.
I like that though. I like when people are straight up. Like when I went to New York, it was the same thing. It's like
Exactly.
if they don't like you, they don't like you. It's straight up. They love you, they love you. You know, you got to earn the respect. So I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. So childhood, you talked about 5 years old, balling with the boys. Like, was that your entire life for through Pee Wee and?
Yeah, I actually have
and-
one of the most genuine basketball stories there are. I picked up a ball because I was a tomboy growing up. My closest neighbor, where I lived. So I was born in New York. I moved to Washington State for 6 years.
Wow. Okay.
So like 2 to 8. I lived in Italy for a year, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So when I was in Washington, there was a lot of land, and the closest neighbor to me was like half a mile away, and he was a boy.
Awesome.
So he wanted to tape my foot to a skateboard. He took the wheels off and pushed me down a mountain because we thought it'd be a snowboard, but we were doing that. We wanted to build a fort and then light it on fire while I was maybe half inside, but we
All
were doing
right.
like,
Oh,
Yeah,
he
wow.
like I got messed with so hard. I remember one time he's like, okay, we're gonna finally do something you want to do. We're gonna watch a movie on dolls. It was Chucky. I
Nice.
was 5. I was
Wow, that's scary.
like, but we played sports all the time with his friends, and I always had to be like bigger, stronger, tougher because they were
Mhm.
all 3 years older than me. And I remember he would like make competitions with basketballs. He's like, okay, well, let's see who can do the most dribbles in this much time, or who can make the most shots in this time. And what I didn't even realize, because I'm just so competitive, was we were actually practicing and like getting better at basketball. I just thought it was like these fun games, and I had to win because he always won and I need to win.
So he
So
told
I'd like
you.
I would stay in my driveway and just like do these drills that he made competitions of, like when he was like playing video games. I was like, I'm gonna win this one. Like, I got this.
You're so dedicated.
I was literally the one that was like, it's Washington State too, so you have to remember it was rainy like 90%
Oh,
of the
nice.
time. I was like in the
Wow.
rain dribbling. It was cold. I was out there. Like now I'm such a baby, I would never, but I was always outside on the driveway dribbling or shooting or like just working on something with basketball, and I loved it so much. And then my parents put me in the Y when I was 5, and there wasn't any girls team, so I played with the guys. So I was like 8, but I was head and shoulders better than pretty much everyone until middle school. They started catching up with me in middle school.
Mhm.
But middle school, I had like 3 40-point games. Like I loved it. It was so fun. I thought I was about to be like in the NBA, not even in the NBA.
Right.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
And then I stopped growing.
Oh no.
I stayed at 5'5". Everyone else continued to grow, and I moved around a little bit. But in middle school, I was it. I was going to the league. No one was telling me anything else.
I think that's what happens if girls play with all guys, because you mature faster and you get better faster. So then like if you just like, Doc could attest to this, like if you play with a bunch of dudes and then you take like all the bumps and bruises, then yes, you're already a tougher girl. And that's what I like about you, Victoria, because I could see on the court, like when someone hurts you or someone like gives you like an antic move and everything, like that kind of fuels you up for you to like have like a better game than you expected to be. And that's what I love about you.
Mhm.
No, I appreciate that. I've taken a couple hits this year. I've put it on my Instagram too. I make fun of myself. Brandon Jamar's knocked me to the ground on a pretty bad block/foul.
At the DL 2-on-2.
Yeah, he knocked me down pretty hard. Hezzy ran me over.
Mhm.
Oh, are you serious?
Like full out ran me over. I think I have it on my Instagram if you want to watch it. But it was to the point where everyone was like, like held their breath, because
Right.
it would have probably been a charge in like any other league. But it's my fault too. Like I'm 5'5", and literally I step in front of 6'6" people. Like it's smart. And I don't back down either. So like to the point where I understand where some of the guys are like, all right, Vic, you're just annoying. Like I can only be polite. I can only be polite for so long. Like I have to knock you down eventually so I can score, because your annoying ass is always in front of me. Like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I'll take the hit. Like I'll get up.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's how you earn that respect. Then you earn that respect that way. Shooting wise, you're a big 3-baller, right? We were talking about it before the show. Let us know what's your go-to shot.
So I actually wasn't a big 3-baller in college. My
Really?
coach was very restrictive on like who she wanted to shoot. I was more of a slasher border. I've always been a crazy border. I have the offensive rebound record in my college, but then after college, it's so nice and so freeing. I know so many people who say they're a better player post-college because you don't have to listen to what one person thinks is your wheelhouse and be like, oh, you're only good at this or only do this or limit you. Like you literally graduate and you're like, wait, I can shoot. I can do whatever move I want. I don't have to listen to a coach that's potentially going to pull me out because I tried a move that she didn't feel was in my wheelhouse. But I've always been really strong. And I've always been able to shoot pretty deep. I don't know how, like, I don't have the most mechanical shot. I mean, it's not mechanical, but like, I obviously have to like take a little extra step or bend my knees a little harder because I am only 5'5". But I mean, they go in and it's really nice because it like opens up the court for me because my 2 biggest moves are, I'm either going to shoot it from like 35 feet if you give me space, which I love. I was just telling him yesterday, I was so mad because I had 2 half-court shots and he didn't get either one. I was so mad. But so it's nice because like,
killing it, on fire. Like,
I didn't get either half-court shot though, which I was so sad because they were like clean half-court shots too.
They
like,
were
clean. And it's so funny because the girls have played with me enough. They just are like roll their eyes. They're like, come on guys, you know to play up on Vic. Like,
no, she's gonna make it.
Yeah, so my 2 favorite things is like I'm gonna either shoot for deep or it's nice because I'm really fast on my first step, so they have to overcompensate and overplay me, so that just gives me the lane to just drive really hard. And those are pretty much like no between. You'll rarely see me take a mid-range. I'm either slashing to the hoop or shooting at pretty much half court.
Yeah, and you're very consistent. Like I saw your Instagram and the video where I think you're to the right of the arch and you made like 20 in a row, like no joke. And I'm just like there with my jaw on the floor, like I couldn't even make one, let alone freaking 20. I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is ridiculous. So, and then you just said you made like some logo shots. Like that's crazy too. It's insane, you know? So keep that up. That's freaking cool.
Logo V.
Logo V. Oh, Drew's
Logo V.
Drew's gonna get you for that one, George. Oh, you're in trouble. So what other you played for Basketball Beauties, X versus X? Can you talk to us a little bit about those and what?
So I think you back up a little. So in college, one of my best friends is Drew Hanlon, and he was training Jameer Nelson at the time.
Oh wow!
So I used to literally beg him to give me shooting lessons, and how I got shooting lessons was I would rebound for Jameer Nelson in a non-air conditioned gym for like 2 hours because Drew at the time believed in like only practicing in non-air conditioned gyms. So I would rebound for like 2 hours for 10 minutes of shooting lessons after we were done. And he's still one of my close friends, and he actually has like half the NBA now. Like he's really grown.
There you go.
Like he has Zach LaVine, Jay, like Joel Embiid, like he's doing really well.
Wow.
So I've always been really into kind of learning from the best, and I thought Drew was the best. I still think he is one of the best, but fast forward to coming to LA, I've been mentoring a lot with Phil Handy, who I think is probably the best there. I mean, Drew's very good too, but like Phil is like the GOAT, like the OG trainer, and he is so methodical and patient. I really love his like teaching style. So I moved to LA on a medical device job that I got, and I did it on a whim. I just knew I had to get out of Philly, and I got a job opportunity. And then when I saw like how much basketball culture there was, I was like, I was elated. So I had Venice basketball. I hooked up with Nick almost right away because we were at some of the Black Lives Matter protests together. And I started playing with them. I think my big entrance into LA scene was they had a 2-on-2 tournament. Doc was there. And there's only 3 girls playing in the whole tournament. And they were all huge dudes. It was for a lot of money. So it was like a lot of overseas players. I would say the average height there was like 6'5".
Oh, wow.
And I was one out of 3 girls. They were tall as guys. And I didn't know what I was getting into because you play in like these leagues are in Philly. Like they're not as popular. So you might have some bum guys that are in it. these guys were legit. And I literally walked in and I was like, is that a 7'4" guy? Mamadou, I've never seen him in my life. He like walks in.
I think I was there.
I was like,
nuts.
Yeah. So anyway,
Brad, George.
I
was there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I went the furthest. I think that was like my debut almost, because I proved myself. Like my team got into the top 8, which was crazy because we were like one of the only girl and guy teams.
Yeah.
And I had like, I don't even want to say this because he'll get mad, but I kind of played Dalian a lot.
Yeah.
I scored 3 in a row on him and he was super mad. And like, there was a super crowd. There was like 30, 40 people watching.
Wait, I think I seen this. Did you rub his head like after
I
you made 3 shots in a row? I knew I was there.
Awesome.
I knew I was there. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, this girl is low-key cocky.
Yeah, Victoria, I didn't know who you were, but you made my heart smile so hard when you did that.
Yeah, I think like no one knew who I was, and they're like, "Wait, who is this chick who just sunned Dalian, and why is she like playing this thing?" Like, because it's so funny because we were playing. My teammate was Caleb, who he's not really on the scene that much, and we were playing against Brandon, Jamar, and Dalian, and like everyone's like, "Oh, this is gonna be an easy ass win for them, like easy," because Brandon's pretty much 7 feet. Dalian's like a huge, strong dude. Like they're playing against a little 5'5" like blonde girl, and Caleb, who's like this goofy white dude, and we won. And I scored literally like, it was, I think that was like my debut, and everyone's like, okay, this girl can actually play basketball. She's actually psycho, but let's put her in.
It makes it better.
Like that game, I think was really like my momentum for like LA, because Brandon knocked me to the ground like hard. I got right up. I scored 3 on Dalian, and like we won the game that we should not have won at all. I made sure everyone knew it. I was like, Brandon, remember when you said you're going to whip my ass? What just happened? Like, you're like, who is this girl? And why did we let her on the court? But everyone was like so entertained. So after that, started playing in Venice basketball. My friend Jay, who's amazing, Miss Tab Buckets, I think you guys already interviewed her.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
She got me in the XVS runs. And then it's just been amazing since. There's been so much basketball, and it's the only thing keeping me sane. I lost my job in September with medical devices. Oh, wow. And I've never hustled so hard in my life. I started coaching, I started training, I do work for Phil. I literally spent like 2 weeks in the Mamba Academy just watching him and rebounding it for him and just networking. I do some work for Baron Davis. Like I just all basketball stuff now, and I've never been happier in my life.
Yeah, exactly. The one door slams, another one opens, you know, and the fact that you're working with all these people, that's a lot of connections, Z. So you never know where that's
it's like it's so interesting. It's like my hoop family really kept me alive. And I think that's the one thing, like, yes, as physically and mentally abusive as basketball was in college, and how everyone said you're not going to make money playing overseas or whatever, people don't realize the network that basketball gives you. And I think basketball over other sports earns you respect that no other sport can really give that to you, because like, what other sport do you like get knocked down so hard, you don't have pads or anything, you just get back up, you work hard, you just show your tenacity. And I think that like spills into the workforce, and just how you handle yourself and how you handle others, I think says so much about your character. Like when I date guys, I literally judge them how they play basketball.
Yeah.
Like,
a
lot of people are screwed.
And I'm not saying like they have to be the best player on the court, but if they're the one that's whining about every foul, and they're the one that's constantly like fighting or
ball hugging the whole time.
Yeah, or they don't pass the ball once.
When you're wide open on the wing,
they say some really nasty stuff to their teammates, or like they're always blaming their teammates for losing the ball. Like that like I judge that, to be honest. I judge your character off of that.
Of course.
That's life.
You can tell so much about a person by the way they play basketball. Like
absolutely.
You really
or how they carry themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 1,000,000,000% on that one. And with that said, we're talking character. Let's jump into your character. You've done a lot, in a good way. You've done a lot of really cool things. You're not just a 5'5" badass. You also, you're charitable. You've done things with kids. You've done things for the homeless. Can you talk about that a little bit for us?
Oh yeah. So I mean, when I first come over here, I always loved volunteering. That's actually how I met Nick. I would be at a lot of Black Lives Matter protests. I work with the Watt Center a lot. I'm very close with them. I'm actually low-key part of this group called the Kings, which is Rodney King's daughter, Laura King.
Cool.
She made this group, and it's to get like men and women, or well, kids, especially like in the worst areas like Watts and Compton and stuff, give them like more of a chance to succeed, which I love. I love that. So I'm in Watts a lot. I volunteer coach there a lot. I helped build a gym in Long Beach at an old church. To be honest, like I could go here and be like, oh my gosh, I'm such a good person. I volunteer all the time, but it does more for me and my soul and my peace than it does.
It does.
Like, I know it helps people, but I'd be lying if there isn't selfish motivation behind it. And I could have the worst day and I never feel better than after I go and volunteer coach or help build boxes or a toy drive or like raise money for something. Like, I never feel better than when I'm in the mix. And I wish Corona wasn't a thing because I could be in the mix so much more.
Absolutely. No, 1,000,000% agree. We did when we worked with the Oxnard Orcas, we did a pillow drive all over. We went to LA, we went to downtown LA. I know George went to Skid Row. Me and Gilbert, we literally went into the trenches, and we had this 9-year-old. I almost cried. Like, I think G and me both almost cried. So we're both dads. And this like 9-year-old little boy was petrified. We're like walking around. They probably think we're cops or something. And he came out and we just handed him a pillow and he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And he's living in a box, in a trench, you know? And it was like, you really, like you said, you really think about things that you're going through and how petty they are compared to what others are going through.
Right. It's so trivial compared to what other people are going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're talking about going to all these different places. You've also traveled to like a trillion different places as well. Is that because of your modeling career? Is that because of basketball? Is that because of both? Or you just like traveling? And
I just love to travel, to be honest. Like, some people save money, some people buy shoes, some people buy purses. I'd buy myself 2 trips a year. Like,
well, that's awesome.
And I would just do it in a very unorthodox way. Like, I'd go to Europe and I would spend 2 nights in Prague and 3 nights in the French Alps and come home. And they'd be like, it took you 12 hours to get there. How are you spending 5 days?
But still, you got the memories. You got the memories of what you did and the fact.
I was like, I was still there.
I'm a crazy history buff, so that's like just hearing that, and it kills me that you get to do all that cool stuff. You've been to over 20 countries from what I've seen.
Yeah.
What was your fave? You gotta tell us your fave.
Oh, it depends on like the season. So in the winter, Courchevel 1850, which is the French Alps, was like, it looked like a scene from a Disney movie. Is it crazy? I'm so fat. I was actually talking about this to my friend the other day. I pick my travel spots based on where I want to eat the most. So it's like almost like a permanent restaurant for 4 days.
So you're a super foodie.
I'll be like, I love French food. So like Courchevel, I'm like, dope. I'll get to eat cheese and wine for 4 days straight. Like, I really pick where I'm traveling based off like what I want to eat. It's not okay.
Okay.
So, so you're like, what's your favorite country? And I'm like, oh, in the winter.
What am I eating?
I was like, this is dope because they have the best hot chocolate and donuts. And I love it.
That's awesome. You'd be the greatest travel agent ever. You're like, well, what do you
literally, I'm like, do you like donuts, croissants? Like, are you more of a carb person or like a fruit person? Because that's gonna affect where I tell you to go. And then in the summer, I love the south of France. I love anything on the Mediterranean. So Greece, Sicily. I was supposed to go to Croatia and Tel Aviv this year, but obviously the world is ending. So
the world is ending.
Yeah.
You mean because of COVID?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybe when the zombies come, we'll find a way to travel to
either that,
countries.
either that or AI, because we're using technology for everything. AI is going to take over as well. So either way, we're screwed. Okay, I gotta ask this random question because I'm weird and stupid like that.
No,
you
go
say
ahead.
you love French food. Have you tried the escargot? And if so, what was your reaction to it?
I love escargot.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's just like a sponge. Okay, so one thing I know is I'm the least picky person in the world. I eat all the weird stuff.
Okay, I'm the opposite.
I had my friend actually try steak tartare the other day because it's one of my favorite dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, but what did I just eat? And I was like, raw baby cow for the most part, because it was like veal tartare. And he's like, I was like, you ate it.
Yeah, you weren't saying nothing when I didn't tell you what it was. That's a parent's trick right there. We've all done that at least once, right, Doc? Come on. You know you've done it at least once. See, exactly.
Yeah, see that. I know Doc just by the looks of it.
Doc's like, I do that all the time.
Hell yeah.
But she
I'm
probably
actually-
Gets
doesn't
away
eat all
with
the
it
healthy
like
stuff,
90% of the
turmeric and
time.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
kind of actually the opposite, really.
right?
I let the kids pick. Like I give them so many choices. And Christina's been like our resident chef since she was 5 years old, cooking dinner for us and stuff. So she kind of chooses more of what we eat.
If I have a daughter, I'm hoping that she's a resident chef.
There you go. It'll
Or
work.
even a son, either of them. Someone just cook for me.
Yeah.
That's the foodie talking right there.
And then you see Victoria just chilling with the wine bottle glass. Like,
No, I actually love to cook. I really do love to cook. I'm like a true foodie. I don't know how I'm not like 400 pounds because I honestly, I dated an offensive lineman once and it was like the best year of my life as far as food.
wow. Where was this?
That's what I need.
Like, and him and I are still close, but like we both bonded on food so much, and it's hilarious. 'Cause I'm like this little 5'5" blonde girl, and he was like this 6'8", 320-pound dude.
That's awesome.
And it was so great because we went to restaurants. I just ordered everything, knowing I could just take a bite out of it all and then just give the rest to him.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. That's freaking crazy. Talking about going out.
Power couple right there.
Right. Hey, I prefer a
A
girl who can
foodie
eat,
power
man.
couple.
I can't stand those girls that are just like, no, order something. Don't be that
Well, the
salad and water
issue
girl.
is-
No.
I order a lot of stuff and like I like eating tapas style, so I have like a bunch of bites of it, but like I never finish it. Thankfully, I usually date bigger guys, so I kind of pawn the food off to them. But
Then
I
That's
definitely
human
have
garbage is
my
full of
eyes
stuff.
are bigger than my stomach.
my son,
that's-
dude, that does that to me all the time. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna eat this, and just give it to me. I'm just like, really? Like I'm still working on mine. Like I still have half a plate, you know? Yeah, everybody does that to me.
that's kind of like how I can relate to that because like every Friday when we were young, I have like two sisters. One of them is a twin, so I'm a twin. Just so you guys know, I'm a paternal twin. But anyway, so yeah, so we would eat, and then like my twin sister, she would be like, "Hey George, you want to eat the rest of my fries?" And I'm not done with my burger yet, so usually I eat the burger first, then the fries. So like
Oh,
my
you're
mom does
meticulous.
this. Yeah, so like, and then like my mom is.
I'm more
that
of like
way,
a
too.
bite of burger, bite of fry, drink, bite of burger, drink.
Yeah, I'm meticulous like that. And then like one time, like I was coming from Africa, so you know how the plain foods are, right? So the food was kind of cold, and then I wanted to eat a little bit of food. So like then like my mom gives me her food, my sister gives me their food. So like I eat it, and then it's like, and then like as soon as I get off the plane, I started getting all these stomach aches. I'm like, why am I getting these stomach aches? And I feel like I didn't eat a lot. So my goal is not to eat so much plain food. And it turns out that I had a bad stomach ache. I'm never gonna eat a lot of plain food again.
Live and you learn, my brother. Live and you learn.
Exactly.
Good
So
story, bro. Good story.
yeah, man, it was like one of the craziest experience I ever had.
Expect the unexpected with George. That's all I'm
And those airplane bathrooms are very tiny, so I'm sure that must have been a little uncomfortable.
Oh, don't get me started with that. It's a long story about that.
Yeah, we don't need that. That's another show, another time.
Another show for another day.
Exactly.
See, I'm the friend that will finish everybody else's food. Like literally, if I could tell you the amount of times where people have asked me if my legs are hollow, because I'm like the skinniest girl that eats
You are
more than
so skinny.
You are.
I eat and I love food. And so when I was playing, because I you guys know I played JUCO, and when I was playing, I would eat 2 value meals from Carl's Jr. by myself.
All right.
And be
Carl's
like,
Jr. really isn't a thing on the East Coast, but I know vaguely it's like a McDonald's essentially, right?
kind of. I mean, that was in the 90s. I would never eat there right now. I would never eat that stuff now. But just saying, like, that's like a meal for one person, right? I'll eat 2 of those. I'll eat 2 meals at restaurants. Like, every 2 hours, I'm hungry.
I think that's an
wow.
athlete too. Like athletes just eat a lot. Like your body,
True.
like working out, like you need more carbs.
Yep.
I'm sure that it just depends on what you eat, Exactly.
Hey, when I go to Philadelphia, I need to see how them Philly cheesesteaks
Cheesesteaks
Oh, you
are
have to have it.
D'Alessandro's.
Yes.
Go to D'Alessandro's.
Sandro's?
Okay.
Okay. When I go to
Alessandro.
Philly, I'll write that and go there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Go there. Yeah, definitely.
Don't go to Pat's, don't go to Gino's, go to Alessandro's. That's the best.
You heard it first here from a Philly girl. You guys heard it.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I was visiting home, I only was able to visit for like, it was weird because I haven't been home on the East Coast for like a year. So as soon as I landed around Christmas time, I had to go get like 3 COVID tests.
Mhm.
And I slept because I had a red eye. And then the next day we woke up and drove 7 hours to upstate New York where my nanny lives because I haven't seen her in a year either. My poor dog, I literally put him on a 6-hour flight. He got like a little rest and then a 6-hour car ride. He is the chillest, thank God.
The dog is
So we went and saw my nanny, and then we were there for a couple days in upstate New York because all my family lives up there besides my parents. And then we came back to Philly. I saw 4 of my good girlfriends. That's it. Like I had to see a lot more people, but I just didn't have time. And when I was leaving, in my head, I was like, oh my God, I haven't had a cheesesteak. I literally ordered Grubhub a cheesesteak to my parents' house before my dad took me to the airport so I could eat it on the way to the airport.
You got it. You have to.
But I'll be honest, I do buffalo chicken cheesesteaks. That's like my
Sounds
favorite.
really good.
That sounds good. That
Oh
sounds
my God.
good.
Yes. It's the same thing. You go to New York, you got to get the pizza. You go to Chicago, you got to
Oh,
get
I did.
the
Oh, I was in New York
Yes.
City for a night and I had Joe's and I was like, oh, thank
Yeah.
God, real pizza.
Right? Right? Oh my God. Funny pizza story. I went to New York, right? And we were in Long Island. And we were supposed to get pizza that night, like actual pizza. And I'm here, I am this Cali boy. I'm like, sweet, we're gonna get authentic New York pizza. They order freaking Pizza Hut. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I came over from Cali. You guys didn't get an authentic freaking.
It's actually
killing
the
me.
Pizza Hut though in New York is probably much better than like the
Oh, I bet.
authentic pizza here.
Oh, I bet. But you got to get the real deal. You got to get.
That is the one thing in
Yeah.
LA. The
Mhm.
pizza here is trash.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta agree on that. So talking
Hey, I
about
love my Domino's pizza.
I don't even like Domino's. Ugh. All right, so we've
I
talked
do.
about you, the baller. We've talked about you, the traveler. What about you like to go out with your girls a lot, from what I see as well. You do like to go out, or you did like to go out. My son would slaughter me if I didn't ask you this because we're big WWE fans. I
Oh,
noticed you're
no.
really close with Charlie.
That's
How
my
long have
best
you
friend.
known? How long have you known her? Like, did you meet her in Philly, or how did that work?
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to put her under the bus or anything.
No, I wouldn't.
love Charlie. I
It's
respect
just
the hell
funny
out of
that
her.
being asked about this.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have a really famous best friend. Charlie and I met 4 years ago
Okay.
at a club. We were both at the same table because my friend was hooking up with one of her guys' friends or something. So I was there at the table and she was there and we were sitting next to each other and we were just like making fun of everyone. Like, this is bull. Like, we don't even want to be here.
How funny. Oh no, not now. Not now.
Dude, she bought me a lollipop in the bathroom and we've been best friends since.
Ivy, I have to excuse you for a minute. You actually froze on that point. Can you go back to where you guys were at the table and start from there? I'm so sorry. Gotta love technology.
Oh, okay. So
apologize.
we were at the same table at Marquee in New York City, which is like a big club. And we were just like sitting there bonding, like how douchey the guys were. And we're like, we're over them. Like, let's leave. So we literally went on our own little adventure. She bought me a lollipop in the bathroom. And we kind of just been best friends since. Sometimes you just meet people in life and you just like click. And her and I, we've traveled together. We've been to Paris. We've been to Ibiza.
So you guys
We've been to Barcelona. We've been all over it's so funny because when I was working, I used to have to travel a lot for work. And she obviously travels every Monday for Monday Night Raw. So we'd always try to kind of plan to be in the same city sometimes.
So
So we actually, this year's Super Bowl is kind of depressing because last year I was there for my birthday. My birthday's always around Super Bowl. And we were at all these parties with Charlie in Miami. And we were just like, remember when things were fun?
Pretty much point blank, right? Exactly.
But Charlie is incredible. When I first met her, she was only doing WWE. And then she became one of the main spokespeople. And now she's on ESPN doing First Take.
I was
With Stephen A. Smith and
so
Max
happy when
Kellerman.
she got on ESPN.
She is incredible.
I'm
She's
so
one
glad.
of the best humans in the world. She's literally family to me. I just talked to her yesterday. And I'm more than appreciative for a friendship. It's just funny because I think sometimes you forget when you have certain friends, like
Yeah.
that people are fans of.
Well, you see her as Charlie, you know, my buddy Charlie. Like we all have our celebrity friends. I have my buddy who's a Bellator fighter, you know, and he's been in many, many fights.
Yeah.
But to me, he's just Johnny. To you, she's just Charlie, you know. To me, I respect. I being a broadcast journalist, I respect the hell out of her, the path that she paved, especially for female journalists.
Oh, and she did it the hard way too.
Yeah,
she did it the hard way. She used to do like a small town Kansas City sports broadcasting. Like she did not do it the glamorous way. Like she's very glamorous now, but
oh yeah,
I will tell you this: she is one of the most intelligent people, and she worked ground up to get where she is. Yeah, I'm super, super, super proud of her.
So shout out to Charlie.
Like, right, birds of a feather flock together.
Exactly, right?
I appreciate that.
Shout out to you, Charlie.
Charlie.
So yeah, I'm really, really proud of her. I was gonna say she actually came to LA and visited me. What was I gonna say? Oh, I've been to a couple of WWE.
I saw that. I was jealous. Go on.
I've never been. Bro, they're scary.
Hey,
I bet they're huge. I've met a lot of them.
Scary. I'm sorry, but the fan crowd that goes to those are scary. I would literally just stay in the crowd. She'd give me great seats. I would stay there, take a video of her coming up on the big screen, and then I would like run and hide backstage because the crowd,
they're diehard.
WWE crowd is no joke.
Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. And that's coming from a WWE fan. So they're nuts. So but it's fun events to go to. And the fact that you got to go back and meet, you even met I see Charlotte has responded to a bunch of your stuff as well.
Charlotte
that's my son is like really loves Charlotte Flair. So that I just had to throw that out there. Thank you so much for that. But let's so shout out to Charlie. We're definitely gonna tag her, by the way. I want her to see this. So shout out to Charlie.
I love you, Charlie.
We're going to talk about another big celebrity, Mr. Blackjack, your baby.
That's a true celebrity.
I love that dog. My son, me and you were talking this week about it. I'm like, yeah, I remember my son, the little blonde thing that was running around chasing Blackjack. Every time I bring up you, he's like, oh, is that Blackjack's mom? Is that Blackjack's mom? I want to see Blackjack. Can I see Blackjack? We go to VBL. Is Blackjack going to be there? Like, that dog is so smart. My dog would have ran off a long time ago. Your dog just kicking it, just chilling, walking around the court without going on the court. Like, he knows what's up, dude. I love it.
The funniest part about that is one of the first tournaments I brought him to in Dockweiler. One of my teammates was like, Vic, I don't want to alarm you, but there's a giant dog following you everywhere. And it's so funny because he went to go play. So I'm on the bench and he came and like took his position and sat at the bench next to me. And the guy was like, I don't want to alarm you, but there's a really big dog just following you everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. That's my dog.
Honestly, when I saw that dog, I didn't know who that dog is. Like, I thought that dog was gonna bite me or something. I was with you, and then like I was recording. And then like next thing I know, I hear some.
I mean, he is big. He's like 110 pounds.
He's so playful though, and he's so friendly.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Like it startles me when people think that Squeakins is like vicious. People get scared of Squeakins. I'm like, she's a little tiny angel. Like, look at her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first went to your apartment, like I didn't know. Like when I met up with you, they gave my shirt. Yeah, I didn't run, so like I was talking to Doc, and then like I see something like licking on my leg. I'm like, "Who's that?" And I see her dog. She didn't even let me. She even tell me that she had a dog.
You were scared of Squeakins?
No, I wasn't scared. It's just that like I looked on the ground, and I was like, "Oh shoot! Oh, it's your dog."
Wait till you come to my.
I kind of knew like that dog wasn't gonna bite, so.
Yeah, no, I got 4. My biggest dog is the most friendliest, which is hilarious. I have 3 little dogs, 1 big dog, and the big dog is the one who wants to jump on your lap all the time. It's just how it works. So, I just wanted to put him out there. I freaking love your dog. Your dog is awesome.
He honestly, I don't think I'll be able to it's gonna be very hard for me to get another dog after him because he is so chill. I'll bring him to the office. I'll bring him to my practices. Sometimes I'll just sit in the corner and watch. Like, you've seen, I bring him to my tournaments all day. He literally just sits and chills, and then he'll maybe come check on me during like a halftime. He is like a boomerang. It's funny because like if he like goes a little too far and can't find me, I see the panic in his face.
Oh no!
And I'll be like, "Blackjack, I'm right here," and then he'll like trot over and find me. He's like, "Okay."
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah, I think you've been next to me when you did that. I was like,
Love him.
watch this. My dog doesn't know where I am. And he's like
Yep,
looking
he's
around
like
frantically.
same
I'm
thing
like,
you.
Blackjack. He like sprints over.
Yeah, I didn't know like it was her dog when, that was behind me when we were at the VBL until someone told me, hey, like that's Baby V's dog. I was like, okay, cool. Whew.
Yeah, let him walk around.
Well, your
Like,
dog
that's
is pretty
ground
chill. I
ball.
love your dog.
Yeah, no, he's a
yeah.
celebrity. Like there's no way everybody knows who he is.
Everyone, it's like a brand. Like it's like
Right?
you know how like Paris had it's like literally a brand. It's like Baby V and Blackjack.
You need to
Like,
get
it's
him a
brand
jersey,
for
V.
sure.
You need to tell
Yeah.
Nick to get him a jersey just so he can.
And
walk
not
around.
even once your dog was barking. That's crazy.
No, he doesn't bark at all. You might hear him bark like once every 2 months, and it would have to be
Nice.
like sometimes my friends sleep in my living room and I'll be in my bedroom.
Oh no.
So he'll forget that. So in the morning he'll hear someone moving around in my apartment,
Oh no.
and my door will be shut, and he'll feel like, oh my god, someone's in the apartment, and that's when he'll bark. But other than that, he doesn't bark. Like if someone's just coming in, he doesn't bark.
That's awesome. You train them right, and they're gonna treat you right.
And that's what I love about dogs. They're just more like the chillest pets that you could ever get.
Well, not all dogs.
In my
Depends,
opinion.
bro. It depends. Trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, like
some
from my
dogs
experience,
can
from
be
my
psycho.
experience, from my experience.
Yeah.
I probably
Like
got
I never
one of
had
the
a dog
chillest
that's so
dogs there are.
vicious.
Yeah.
Blackjack might be one of the chillest dogs there are, but he's
I
also like a
gotta
big
agree.
baby.
I gotta agree.
Oh,
Coming
for
from
real?
someone who has 4 dogs and seeing Blackjack. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so again, you guys are listening to All Sports Media Team presents Double Dribble episode 36, Heart Over Height with Victoria Baby V Mazzeo. We're having a really good time and with smiles all around this whole day, which I absolutely love. We're finding out she's a dog mom, that she's a 3-ball. She killed her in 3-ball. She didn't always kill him in 3-ball, but she did. She's super social. She knows quote unquote celebs, which we don't treat like celebs because they're just our friends, right, V? You know what's up.
They're just human beings at the end of the day.
What was that? Yeah, exactly. But we got to do this before we let you go. I know we're holding you over a little bit. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't have practice till 2.
Okay. Oh, well, now we got to go for another 3 hours, V. Why would you tell me that? I'm just kidding. I would never do that to you. We ask everybody these questions. They know what's coming, and I'm gonna probably shoot it over to them for a little bit. George, do you want, before we jump into our normal slot of questions, do you have anything you want to ask V?
All right, V. Yes, I do. So, V, I always ask a lot of our guests this, like, what is your favorite basketball movie growing up, and why, and what message did you get out of each of the movies that you?
So I have 3. Obviously, Love and Basketball. I mean, that one's just obvious. Any
That's
girl
everybody's
basketball player
favorite.
loves that. My first kiss was on a basketball court. Like I am the epitome of a basketball, like through and through.
My first kiss was on the basketball court
Yeah,
too.
it's very
Look at
common.
that.
Yeah. And then Coach Carter. I love Coach Carter. The
Great movie.
quote that Tio Cruz says at the end about like being enlightened and fear, like that is probably. And I know I know the movie director didn't make up that quote. I forgot who originally did that quote, but it is maybe my favorite quote in the world. Like it gives me chills every time. I'm gonna try to actually Google so I don't get in trouble. Who actually said it, but it is so deep and I used to like live by it. And then my 3rd favorite movie is White Man Can't Jump because I felt like I am him like so much. Like I'm always such like everyone just sees this cute little white blonde girl like 5'5".
How funny.
And I feel like then again the court and they're like, wow, okay.
How funny. How did you feel when you actually, that being one of your favorite movies, how did you feel when you got to play on that court?
You want to hear the saddest thing in the entire world?
No, don't say it. No,
Doug knows
no, don't. Are you serious?
No, say it.
It's been shut down since I moved here. And I literally picked my first apartment to only be like 0.5 from there so I could walk there every day and play. I have yet, because I've only visited LA once before I've been here, I've yet to shoot on the Venice basketball court. I literally play in the Venice Basketball League. Yeah. I am like, with all the Venice basketball legends are my friend, I have yet to shoot one shot on a Venice basketball court with nets.
Damn, I feel
wow.
Sorry.
How sad is that? I know.
Yeah.
But I did, obviously we played at the Watts Oasis, so I did see the stairs where they used to run up on. But this quote, it says Coach Carter in the movie, but I know it's not by them, but it's just like, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing in line about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you.
Absolutely.
I
Wow.
love it. Like it's longer, but that top part like was always my bread and butter.
Absolutely. I love that.
I love
I
that's one
love,
of my too.
yeah. George, do you have anything else you want to add before we get into our other questions?
Yeah. So, what's your favorite moment at the VBO this past year?
Besides winning the chip.
Yeah, besides winning the
I
chip.
remember that. I was there for that
I
one.
know, but like I'm so annoyed because I kind of want us to win the whole thing because we were like favored, but there's just a lot of stuff that happened.
We're not getting, yeah.
Favorite moment. I have to think. I think just like earning respect from my teammates and like the crowd every single day by doing different things. Like not even just scoring, just like defensive plays and just
doing the
like
dirty work.
yeah, constantly getting up after I get knocked down. I think, and I also think, okay, so my first game, I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous my first game because I felt like that was the first time I was playing in the men's basketball league. There weren't many women in it. And I know I'm a really good player, but obviously everyone has days where they're just like, what am I even doing? And it's a lot harder to play. Every basketball player knows this with a whole team you don't know.
Yeah. Obviously.
Like part of the reason I'm so good in XVS is because I was on Doc's team. I was on a bunch of people that I know and trust, and they know and trust my skill level. So it's a lot easier to play with people who trust giving you the ball. But I was on a team with, I didn't know any of the guys. I didn't know one guy, which is crazy because I was friends with a lot of them, but not on my team. So in my head, I'm like, they probably look at me and think that I'm just like a commodity, like something that Nick uses to draw crowds. Like, they don't probably realize that I played D2 college basketball. I captained, like it's been my life forever. So I'm like, I really hope I can showcase something in this, like, and we only get like 5 minutes of playing time, and this 4 or 5 minutes of playing time that proves to them that I'm a good player. But I did, like, I blocked the crap out of the girl that I was playing. I had some crazy assists. I took a couple hard fouls and got up. And I think just that initial proof and like just earning my teammates respect every day, I think that was definitely my favorite. It's also just a very entertaining league. Like, and I loved watching Doc. I loved watching all my other girlfriends. Like, I just cheer for them so loud because and I even made a story about this. Someone was like, the women of the VBL are some of the toughest, most athletic women there are. And I'm like, facts.
Yeah.
And I feel honored to be part of that family, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think you earned your stripes when you first played in the VBL because I know how much of a great player you are. I know how much work you put into it. And I know you played with certain guys that actually made you better, made you who you are right now. And then like with Doc on your team, like Doc could be like your big sister that teaches you the ins and outs. So I think like with both of you girls, it's like you guys, sky's the limit for you guys. That's all I could say.
Yeah, so I definitely feel honored. Also, too, just for the record, not to even blow up Nick's spot, there's nothing like the BBL anywhere in the world. Like, I played at Rucker in Philly. Like, that atmosphere that they create every time there's a tournament is unmatched. Like, there's no street ball tournaments like Venice basketball. There's no rules. I'll even give Voice of Venice Beach a little shout out. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, there's no MCs like that. Like, it is just an atmosphere that you could not even explain to someone without them walking in, even during Corona. Like, you can't explain. I try to tell my friends on the East Coast and explain Venice basketball, and I can't. I'm like, it's like a movie.
It's true. So true. So Doc, you lived it as well. You can respond to that, and then if you got any questions for her before we go into our panel of questions, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, when I first played, like, that was probably the most nervous that I had been playing basketball in like 20 years. Like,
it's a lot.
It was so much pressure to not mess up, so much pressure to try and like prove yourself and gain the respect of your teammates. Plus, like, I think it's going to be different. Like when, hopefully, like, I know Nick wants to create like a VBL for women, and I think it'll definitely be different then, but being like the one girl on the team and like having to play the other girl and coming out and you guys like have your 4 minutes or whatever, it's, for me, I was like, okay, just don't mess up for these 4 minutes
Yeah.
because I feel like it was so much pressure.
It is.
So,
It's a ton of pressure. Although
Yeah.
I'm a brat, like once I started playing well, I was like, give me more than 4 minutes. I'm better than half these guys. What the heck? I think there was one time we were winning by a lot and I literally subbed myself out. And at that point, the guys knew me. I was like, I'm going back again. Someone go sit because I need some shots. I haven't taken a single shot. Like you literally only get 1 or 2 shots per game. And I'm like, if that, and I'm like, hell no, I'm getting some shots. I'm a better 3-point shooter than most of you. Go sit down.
Facts.
Hey, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Like I was like, listen, we're up by a lot. It can't be messed up. Not to mention, like, I really am a better 3-point shooter than most of you guys. Like, just give me the ball so I can get a couple shots up.
There you
Yeah.
go.
See, I was the opposite because like I didn't realize it then, but I wasn't ready to come back after a major surgery that I had. Like I really wasn't ready to come back yet. But next summer, like it's on.
I knew she
Oh,
It's
she
on,
said
the
it
skeleton
first.
Dropped the mic.
She said it first.
The gauntlet. It's on.
That's
Love it.
that's the cock with dot. I just gotta say that.
Get out.
I don't know.
Get
I
out.
know.
You're done.
I'm just
You're
I'm
fired.
just I'm just gassing you
Yeah.
up, dog. I'm just gassing you up
I
right
No,
now.
blow
appreciate
it up.
it. I really need it.
Yeah. Here you are.
Nick knows
Awkward.
she does it all the time.
But
Right. And then
All the time.
oh no, it's not gas. That's facts.
exactly, absolutely facts. Doc, do you have any comments or questions for V before we get into our normal couple 4 that we do?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to know like what your next goal is. Like what's like your next step in your either character development or either your career goals or basketball goals. Like what is like your next 2-3 years looking like that you want to work on?
So I think the best way to answer this, because I've done a lot of thinking, and then I think if you asked me this 5 years ago, I'd be like, I want to be the CEO of this and blah, 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 blah. But I think my biggest thing is just to be happy. Like I have a couple of things that I obviously want to work on and like maybe podcasts. I do have like a women's basketball line, like I want to like put out and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't even really care. I do, but I don't. I think after, especially this pandemic, you just learn that like inner peace and being happy and surrounding yourself by good people is just the best thing to do.
Especially.
And like I almost feel like career goals are so frivolous now. It's just like I just want to do some stuff I love. If I could pay the rent, great, all the better. But I think the most important thing is I really want to focus on my inner peace and to being happy every day. And someone gave me the best advice the other day. It was just you want something you can look forward to every single day. Not like, oh, this big thing's happening in 3 weeks. Like you want something little to look forward to every day. And for me, I live on the beach. So I'm like, I get to go see the ocean every single day, or I get to play basketball with my friends, or every single day there's something I'm looking forward to. And I really want to keep that up.
Right. I love that. I love that. And that was the thing that I was hoping was going to come out of this whole like pandemic shut down everything from the start. I was like, I really hope that this is going to be like the noble renaissance. So where people just really figure out what it is that they're passionate about and go for that, because everything else is closed. So the only thing that people would be able to do is do what they love. And it's like so many people got taken back to childhood because they weren't able to work. All they were able to do was the stuff that they would do as if they were a kid.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have their work. So I feel like that was the best thing that came out of all of this. And I hope that once things do like reopen, that people will go more for their passions and for what they love, as opposed to like what makes them money, and that they realize that they don't really need a lot of money to do things that make them happy. It's about
or all the materialistic things.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like I work 3.5 days a week. Mind you, some days I don't get off work until like 10 or 11 or something like that. But I work 3.5 days a week, and I spend the other days with my kids, because the other half those 3.5 days they're with their dad. So I have them the other days, and I don't work when I have them, except for like early in the mornings on Saturdays. And then that's it. The rest of the day, I'm done. If I have overflow, then I'll put some in different days. But I'm like, booking everybody just on those days, and that's it. And yeah, like I'm not rich, but I'm paying my rent and I'm paying my bills, and I have freedom and I have the time to be able to spend with my kids. And that's what I didn't have when I was going to school for 10 years. You know, like I didn't have that freedom. I didn't have that luxury.
Right.
So I'm taking advantage of that now.
And I think that's honestly, as I said, spending time with the people you love and being happy and just having them time. Like, I really think is the most important thing there could be.
Absolutely. Yeah, this pandemic, it's brought a lot of people together that otherwise probably never ever would have met. I mean, just this panel alone, I would have never known Doc. I wouldn't know George. The only person I would have known is my buddy Gilbert. I always say I've been working since I was 15. I'm 36. And I just got furloughed on my third job that I had. So I have no jobs. I have a 9-year-old here at home doing online school. You know, I'm back in 4th grade again, which is absolutely annoying as hell. I'm just gonna put that out there. But like you said, Doc, I do all my work, all my research for this show, my other show, and when I'm at KCAL, the KCAL show, I do all that while he's in school. Unless he needs help, obviously I jump off and help him, because in that way I have the day free. So I'm right there with you, Doc. And like you said, V, you just have to look forward to something small. Like, hey, I'm gonna walk to this place instead of drive, or I'm gonna go enjoy the scenery outside instead of driving in the car, or, you know, go to a lookout at the beach or a park, or enjoy nature, or something of that nature. It sounds weird, but it's true, you know, and it helps the soul. It does. The mental game is strong right now. And we really got to get this out to people that it's okay to go out, and even if you are alone, enjoy, you know, God's great creations, you know, and it helps out. It really does. So
Yeah,
putting that out there. So
please, vitamin D, please. I can
exactly.
Enough. Oh my God.
Right. Seriously. Doc would put that out every show.
And I get that vitamin D too. So I was like, Doc told me to get my vitamin D. So I'm
every day
taking advantage of every opportunity.
Absolutely. First off, V, I want to say thank you for staying over a little bit. We're just about done. You're freaking awesome. We already knew that. And now we're getting even more into detail with you. You're super awesome. You're outgoing. You're a lot of fun. So straight up just putting it there. All right. We do these questions with everybody. Guys, girls, it don't matter, because we've got the weirdest answers, and it's super.
Here we go.
First question I'm going to ask. You get a blank check for we'll say WNBA. You get a blank check for the WNBA. Where are you going and why?
I think I know the answer to this one.
Where am I going?
Yeah, you know, blank check to play for any WNBA team. Where are you going?
Oh, to play for any okay, I understand the question now.
Sorry.
I think it depends where my girl Nafisa is. That's like one of my good friends. So wherever she's playing, I want to play with her.
There you go. All right. So we hit her up first. Okay, cool. Good answer. You're playing one-on-one versus WNBA or NBA star. Who is it and why?
A WNBA or NBA star.
It could be either or overseas, or anybody that you feel would be freaking awesome to have a one-on-one against. No. Damn you, technology.
Doc could have tested that.
We're having major technical issues. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the one-on-one thing, one more time. I'm sorry, it cut out. I
said, I think you bring Kobe back, because in that one-on-one session, you learn more in that 20 minutes than you do your entire life in hoops. That man is like a
Doc could agree to that, right, Doc?
Thought-provoking beast. And if I had 20 minutes with him to play one-on-one, I'd be shooting, but I'd mainly be talking to him during that 20 minutes.
Of course. Yep, of course. Doc knows. She was there.
So. She was in the trenches.
I'd be like, all right, another good shot. No, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, it was good. How do I make it great? But, you know, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I could go back to my 19-year-old self for the 2 weeks that I got to play one-on-one with Kobe. When Kobe was 19, I would have probably been a lot more talkative, but unfortunately, neither one of us said anything to each other except for call out the score, because it was a little shy. We were both very shy.
That's really cute. I didn't know you played one-on-one. That's amazing.
Two more. And then, what was that?
I said before Vanessa.
Vanessa. We know the story. You got to go back a couple shows. I love it. All right. We also asked this one. This one's fun. It's called the Mount Rushmore, which makes absolutely no sense because we do 5 people instead of 4. But you got 5 people, any era, could be WNBA or NBA. Who's on your team for your 5? Any era, any positions.
Someone should have prepped me with that question, but I already know.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Original Isaiah Thomas is my point guard.
Yep. Okay.
Ben Wallace is my 4.
Oh, 2 Pistons. You're killing me.
Okay.
LeBron James,
Detroit.
obviously.
Okay.
I don't know what's obvious about that, but okay.
I mean, Kobe.
Okay.
And who else do I really like? What other player do I really like? It would probably be a toss-up between Iverson.
Okay.
I was just about to say that.
Philly.
Yeah, Iverson might be in there. So then I might have, that's a kind of weird team though, like Iverson, Ben Wallace, Isaiah Thomas, the original, LeBron, and Kobe. I mean, it's so guard heavy.
We've got the weirdest combinations that we have heard over the last few weeks. Trust me.
It's a little guard heavy. And if it wasn't Iverson, I might put Candace Parker in there, honestly, because I love her.
You don't have a big.
I mean, LeBron's pretty big.
She's gonna put LeBron in center.
And Ben Wallace, LeBron and Ben Wallace together. I mean, I don't have like a gangly person, but LeBron and Ben Wallace wouldn't be like the worst backcourt.
No, especially when in today's games, there's really no center. It's just powerful.
We'll just play 4 out.
There you go.
It's kind of a boss team. Those are the people. I mean, besides, I hate this because I love Isaiah Thomas's game, but obviously his character and like some of the stuff he's done in the news isn't the best. So I try not to like hype him, but I just really loved his game. But everyone else, I love their stories, I love their character, and I just think they'd be good teammates.
Well, there you go. See, that's her team. She's sticking with it. It's all good. All right, my last question that we do for everybody: legacy. What legacy does Baby V Victoria Mazzeo want to leave behind when she hangs up the shoes?
So honestly, I had one of the most humbling moments I've ever had in my life just last week. But I really want to like 2 things. I want to inspire people to like take chances, really big chances, because I feel like I've taken a lot and for the most part I've been rewarded, and just like go after what you love, because I feel like that's something I really hype on and something I've actually done, like moving across the country in the middle of pandemic. And then losing my job and not going home, but just being like, okay, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to figure out a way to do this. And I did.
I love it.
And then I think the second thing is I really want to inspire little girls to be super tough. And I also want them to think that they don't have to play guys to look tough. Like I want women to respect women to the point where like iron sharpens iron. So like there is some badass girls out there. And I really think my most competitive games are with like 5 girls. And the other day I was coaching and we had a new girl and she came up to me and she was like, she didn't speak English very well. I think she was Spanish. And basically she was talking very slow and she was like, hey, did you play on a court where it was painted? And I was like, oh, Venice basketball. Yeah, I played. She's like, I watched you. You're amazing. And I was like,
wow, there you go.
Like I could literally cry just thinking about it, but I was so humbled. And her mom was telling me that like she came home that day and was practicing basketball and just like, I saw the toughest girl play, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, my heart, because like you just never know who you're inspiring.
Absolutely.
And I think like that was just like so great. And I get some DMs occasionally. Like it's so funny because you have to sort through like the creepy guy DMs, but I get
stop being creepy, you guys. Jeez. Okay, go on.
But so when you sort through that, there's quite a bit of like little girls that'll DM me and be like, you're my inspiration, blah, blah, blah. And that makes me feel so happy because I do think there is a lot of like fraudulent people in the like social media basketball world, as far as like they do something more for attention, which is unfortunate, but it is true. So I like love when like they get real people who are like, hey, like I really did play college ball. I really did put in the time. Like if you watch me play, there's nothing fake about my game. It's one of the hardest, most genuine games that you'll ever witness. Like it's not a smoke and mirror thing.
And I can attest to that because there was one game that we played, and my kids played in it, and there was a girl who has a big social media following, and even like coaches girls teams and stuff, and she was not very good playing with my kids. And then Victor, you see, like during a break or during halftime or after the game, I can't remember which it was, Victoria's over there helping Mariah with her shot. And the kids came back after that and they were like, we love Victoria, like she helped us with this, or she was like showing us that, like it was so cool, you know? And it was like, okay, well, that was really strange, because you would figure like this person who claims to be like this or that or whatever would be the one that would be more inclined to be helpful or encouraging. And it was Victoria that was doing it. And and that was before like she was coaching and doing all this with, I think that was before you started coaching.
Yeah, that was before coaching, yeah.
Yeah, and so like obviously now you can see that that's what she does, but I had no clue before that. And so it was really cool, and it was inspiring to the kids a lot too.
Yeah, so I think anytime I can inspire, I mean, even Doc on the court now, I think any girl who's on the court who's really just like has a genuine game, and I just think can inspire other little girls. And it's so weird because basketball wasn't that cool. Being a women's basketball player was not cool when I was like in college and middle school, and now it's becoming like kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
Haley is like dope, Paige is dope, like people know these women hoopers, and it's actually cool to be athletic and like a tough, hard-nosed player, and like it's encouraged. And I just love, and I mean Kobe, there's probably a lot to do with that with Kobe, but just the women basketball scene is now like kind of popping and popular. And so like there are people that are capitalizing off that, but which drives me nuts a little, but at the same time, like some of the real players who it's like their biggest passion in life, like myself, finally get to have like a bit of a platform. And I do appreciate that part.
And we love the fact that you put yourself out there like that. And because, you know, I work at Angel Stadium. I worked at Angel Stadium before the pandemic, and I would see people, you get the cool players like Mike Trout, every game, gives autographs, talks to kids just because he wants to, you know, because he was there once, you know. And then you get other guys who are just walking around in the back on their cell phones, or they walk by the kids and don't even acknowledge, don't even look at them, you know, like I'm here to do my job and I leave, you know. And I've actually heard players say that before, and it's really sad. And then you get like celebrities like Gabriel Iglesias. Like if you go up and he's just chilling at like, you know, McDonald's or whatever, he's the same. I met him, God, it must have been like 10 or 15 years ago before he was, this is gonna sound weird, before he was big. But he was super nice. His son Frankie was with him, and he just came in. I was working at a sports collectible store, and he just came in, super cool dude, you know, took a picture with us, you know, just totally laid back, you know. And you got to remember when you're going up to celebrities, like we talked about with Charlie, you know, they're people first. They're always people first. They got families, they got friends, and you know, you just got to treat them like people, you know. So I'm just putting that little PSA out there. Our last thing, since we're super over on time, but I really don't care because it's our show and we can do that. My final question is, what is one thing that you got to do because of basketball that you think you otherwise would have never been able to do?
I mean, so much. I've met so many people. I think that's the bottom line too. The people I've met through hoops and just my hoop family are so priceless to me. I don't think I'd be anywhere without basketball. Like it's my whole platform. It's my whole network. It's what shaped me as a human and like my work ethic. So, I mean, I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have been anywhere. I wouldn't have had any friends. I mean, it's a little dramatic, but I wouldn't have any of the jobs I have today without basketball. I wouldn't be in LA happy, probably. Yeah, as I said, like there's really, I mean, it's countless. I don't know if you want me to talk about being courtside in the Sixers, if you want me to talk about
that was cool. Yeah.
Just even being in LA right now, like being able to hang at the Mamba Academy with Phil, like just listening to meeting Doc, who's one of like the most genuine, cool humans. Like it's all through basketball. It's my entire family and friend network is pretty much hoopers.
That's awesome.
Especially out in LA. Like I have some girls that I was friends with in college that weren't hoopers, and they'd always be like, "Oh, Vic's doing her basketball stuff." but all my friendships have been formed out here through hoops. I would have no friends.
And it's like,
Sorry, you got us.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's stuck with
appreciate
us. Sorry. Yeah,
I mean, I literally moved to LA across the country in the middle of pandemic, knowing like 1 or 2 people. And I have so many friends now, and it's literally all through basketball.
Yep. You never know. You never know who you're going to run into. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. That was super awesome. Go ahead, Doc.
I don't really have any other questions. I just want to say that Victoria has a huge heart, She's got a huge presence. She definitely, I never even imagined that she's 5'5". Like, she's
All right.
getting all the rebounds, and if she's not getting the rebound, she's knocking it out of the person's hand that actually got the rebound. So like she's playing tough. Like sometimes I feel like she's taller than me. Like I do not see her as 5'5". So like when she says that, I'm like, no. Like I want to pull out like challenge that. But she plays huge. She has a huge heart. She's brilliant. She's very smart and educated. And you know, like the whole stigma of being blonde, white girl, like people probably don't expect you to be so intelligent at the same time. And that's unfortunate, but it's amazing that you can be the person to turn that stigma over. And I don't know, like she's just really, really tries to do the right thing all the time. And I love that about her. Like she's amazing. She's so, and she, you know, she's gonna do big things. And whether that means like big things for the world to see or just big things that affect people on a personal level or whatever, like I don't think it matters to her really. I don't think she's looking for like all the fame and everything. I think she just wants to make a big impact on the world. So that's a beautiful thing about her too.
I'm gonna like blush. I'm gonna like save that when I'm feeling sad. Just like I like remind myself like, oh, someone else sees you. So maybe I forgot. So I appreciate that so much. And Doc's been one of my family members out here. I met you pretty early on and we've been close since. So I really appreciate you guys interviewing me today. Please let me know if you have any follow-up questions. I have to go get ready. I want to stop by the younger kids' practice before my practice, so I can show face.
George, did you want to close out real quick? Do you want to close?
Yeah. So since this was it's been like a little over a year since Kobe passed away. What do you remember about Kobe? What are the things that got you inspired of playing the game of basketball?
So I can get really deep with this, but I actually think I'm gonna keep it light. My favorite Kobe fact / it's not really a memory because I wasn't there, is that Kobe would learn other languages to mess with people from countries. So Tony Parker, he learned French,
I remember.
French and talking shit,
I remember.
just to mess with him on the court. And like Luka Doncic or whatever, like he learned his native language to mess with them. And I like, no one else does that. Like that is such a Kobe thing, and it makes me smile because I like rather smile than cry when I remember him. So like I don't want to get deep in like how like he's affected women's basketball and stuff like that, which he has, but like my favorite Kobe fact is that he literally took the time to perfect a French accent and like curse words just to mess with like Tony Parker on the court. And he did that with multiple, like Luka, he did it with his, like it's hilarious.
Yeah, and you gotta respect that the time to do that, you know?
Oh yeah,
I watched a Tony Parker documentary and he did mention that.
Absolutely.
It's genius.
That is, I freaking love it. And we freaking love you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get you out of here. You stayed over. Actually, this is the longest show we've ever done, but it was so much fun. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
Again, this was Double Dribble episode 36, Heart Over Height with Baby V, Victoria Mazzeo. Next week, we got the mommy to be, Alicia Taylor, the Black Italian. So we're really looking forward to that. V, I'll send you the link if you want to come join us and say what's up. If not, we'll have the show out on YouTube as well. Again, this show always airs 3 p.m. on Saturday, youtube.com, All Sports Media Team. V, I know you got a jet, so go ahead and do your thing. You're amazing. Don't forget it. Keep it up. We love you. Have a great one.
We love you, V. Hopefully I see you on the court again.
Again, stay safe out there. Go enjoy God's green earth, all right? Peace out, everybody.
Will do.
Peace.